Welcome back to I'm Creation Summit. My name is Prem Sangeet. Hello, everybody, for tuning in to Startup Grind Network for I'm Creation. I have amazing guests that I just chatted about, and it's like, well, let's geek out this on the podcast. So please introduce yourselves, guys.
Hello, my name is Vasilisa.
Vasilisa,
Vasilisa, yes.
and you are
I am a somatic practitioner and coach, and I'm here to learn how to open myself up to more.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Hi, my name is Mike Marazza. I really do two things. I'm a coach to CEOs and business people, and then I also coach professional speakers on how to go from being a great, amazing on-stage working professional to like Hall of Fame. People remember you for 20 years after you stop speaking type speaker.
And how to really deliver that, have the delivery and the content and the voice for that. And we were just geeking out on something that I found
Yeah,
fascinating. So you have like these three things that you say it's like a formula for a hook to really kind of have people after
yeah.
your talk or after a podcast that we're trying to do this to deliver a message is going to create such a profound impact on
Hmm.
somebody. And you also coach Tony Robbins and many other people
Well, I didn't coach
to
Tony. I worked for Tony,
opportunity. Yeah.
and I hired and trained the speakers for his company.
Thanks for
Yeah,
clarifying
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I'm curious to learn more about those three main things that you kind of want to have in its essence of the delivery.
Well, this was okay. So this one of the things we were talking about, but I do want to get in our fear study. But when it comes to speaking, there was a couple of main things, which is one, people need to understand why they're listening to you, um, what you're there to tell them, and how this is going to affect their life. Because if they don't know that, then they're just like sitting there because whoever the MC got up and said, "You're a speaker, you're good. I'm already in my chair. I should listen to you." But if they understand what this is going to do for me, now they're okay. This is going to change me somehow. I want to take it in. And I will say that when I teach speaking, but I want to be concise in service of our actual subject. What I tell people is there's four pillars to it, and the four pillars are strategy, structure, scripting, and delivery. That's when it comes to technique. You have to have strategy to your talk, structure to your talk, script it properly, and not have it be this long rambling thing, and deliver it well. But over and above all that, and the thing that's absolutely 100% the most important is to is connection. When you
Mm,
get up on that stage, and we'll talk, you have an opportunity to reach into people's hearts and minds and move them to take action that they would not have taken if you hadn't shown up. And that is a gift to be in that position.
wow.
So I get all emotional when I talk about this.
Oh,
It's a
thank you
gift
so
to be in
much.
that position, and
Yeah,
it's beautiful. And
beautiful.
when you get up and you're coming from love because you're there for them, you getting acknowledgement, you for whatever reason you got there. Maybe you got there to sell something. Maybe you wanted to build up your followers. Maybe you're getting paid to be there. Maybe whatever it is. When you get up from love and you're there for them, you getting that stuff takes care of itself. People will buy from you. People will want to follow you because they know that you're there for them. And that's what most speakers don't do,
Yeah. So
right?
there's a kind of level embedded trust and really deliberate.
Yeah.
As wow, so beautiful, man.
And
Thank you for sharing that and
yeah.
being vulnerable. So beautiful. Wow. And then we spoke about very interesting feeling that we all have, and it's innate in us, and it's almost like a primal instinct, as our kind of main purpose is to survive and try to predict every
Mhm.
second moment that's coming, and it's based by a fear
Mm.
of not surviving or
Mm.
surviving to the next moment.
Yeah.
And Vasilisa brought this kind of idea of like, well,
Yeah.
what is fear and how we can tackle it with somatic work, with different concepts of mind, body, and spirit. So, Vasilisa, you want to share something about what you had in mind with how your approach is with somatic work and psychosomatic work?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about how there's two different types of fear: the fear of when there's true danger, when there's a
Mm.
tiger around and you actually need that fear response to.
Useful to
It's
survive
Yeah.
very
that tiger,
useful.
If
right?
there's a tiger in the room, you should probably run, find an exit, do something.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's the other one that may be connected to something that happened in your
Mhm.
past, right? Some form of trauma or conditioning that's connected to a fear that was built
Mm.
in when you were younger. Um, and the concept that it may not be real in the moment, it may not be happening in this now moment, but it is still real, right? It still lives in the now moment. Our mind and our body doesn't know the difference between past and present and future. So it is still here in the present moment in our body. And so, how do we approach that in a way that acknowledges the fact that it is here, but also acknowledges the fact that it's not happening right now,
Yeah.
right? How do we hold that in this space, and how do we move forward, acknowledging that it's still here but not active?
Right.
Yeah,
It, and you know it's beautiful. Can I share?
yeah,
You mind?
Please,
I was
yeah.
going to say is like I was saying, to me, fear is important and unimportant at the same time. Like the only importance of fear for me is as a like a notification on your phone, right? And the first response to fear is 30 seconds of discernment, right? So it's like, okay, am I standing in the middle of the road and there's a car coming? I better get out of the road. That was good. Thank you, fear. You helped me out. Okay, am I feeling fear, but it's based on a past trauma, a trigger, some limiting beliefs I have? Great. Then I'm just feeling an emotion and it's not necessary right now. There's nothing really happening that's bad. It's just things in myself I have to heal. Therefore, it shouldn't stop me from moving forward. I'll just be afraid and feel like crap and still go do what I want to do. Right. And that's the thing is most people don't do the discernment part.
Discernment. And you're saying there's this window of attention, which is about 30 seconds. So
Yeah.
I heard in some studies they found if you give fear an attention for 17 seconds, that where it kind of you you're caught in with these loops.
Yeah.
And what Dr. Joe Dispenza always says, like, right, yeah,
Good old
where
Joe.
energy, good old Joe, what energy, where attention flows,
Energy
energy
goes.
goes.
energy goes, right?
Yeah.
So where do we want to have our energies going,
Yeah.
and what sort of discernment of the good fear and bad fear that's a survival based fear, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
how do you approach this with your work, with
Yeah,
the
there's
somatics? Yeah.
different ways, right?
Hmm.
Because there's moments
Yeah.
where
As my shirt unbuttons on a podcast. Here we go.
It's always welcome here.
Oh, you're welcome here.
there's
Just
moments
rip them off.
where yeah, there's moments where it's important to kind of acknowledge that it's here and give it some presence for it to be allowed to process.
Yeah.
And then there's moments where we don't have that space and that time or that safety to actually allow that process to complete. And so we need to create nervous system regulation practices to
Mm.
kind of soothe that in the moment so that we can come back to it when we do have that safe space to process
Safe
that
space. Yeah.
unprocessed energy.
Safe space is a beautiful container, and then I'm very pleased that you mentioned this, like, because in some of the work I studied from the Dr. Richard Schwartz, his kind of theory of internal family system, which is
Mhm.
very interesting psychotherapeutic model, says if
Mm.
we give just witness that fear,
Mhm.
whatever that anxiety feeling is,
Mhm.
it's also just a part of us that expresses from what you mentioned, like with whatever stressors or traumas we had in the past, are just those unprocessed things that are usually have the different opposite side
Mm.
of the coin of their purpose. So if,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
there was a cheerleader in original state, because someone's mom or dad said like you're a bad singer, maybe it's converted in an inner critic. But
Mm.
its original state is that. So the fear of singing or being a public speaker might be just related to that, right? So I love the fact that you do with these modalities. You witness your fears or whatever feelings arises,
Mhm.
and they're nothing else but parts of us that
Yeah.
Yes.
explained by Dick Schwartz, which is what I really really believe. and witnessed other people transformed like this.
Can,
Yeah.
by the way,
Yeah.
can we talk about how she's a living example of this
Oh,
right now?
please.
Can I? Do you mind
That's
if
why
I share this?
that's why
Is that
Queen
all
is
right?
here.
Dope. So I get for all of you watching. So what you may not understand because we haven't expressed this yet is how amazing a living example of Vasilisa is of this right now. So 20 minutes ago, we're in the lobby having cacao, and we're talking, and she goes, "You know, I should do a podcast." And I said, "Well, why don't you?" Well, I don't have the equipment. I don't have any place to shoot it. I'm like, can I swear?
Sure.
And I'm like, are you? I was like, are you fucking with me right now? And she goes, what do you mean? I go, you need 2 microphones, a tripod, and an iPhone. And she goes, well,
I
but
have that.
but I'm between places, and I'm moving. I said, do you have a friend with a house? Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, but I don't have a guest. Well, that would take 30 minutes, right? But it was fear, giving her reasons that sounded
Mm.
true. But the fact is, she actually does have 2 microphones and a tripod and an iPhone already. She
And
has
a friend with a house.
she has
and
a friend with a house, right? She has like 2. Not only does she have people to interview, but so we're having this. She goes, well, you want to interview? I said, sure. Great, let's do it in a week. I'm going to a retreat. I'll be back. Right after we say this, the person that started this, Christy, one of the founders of this, happens to come along. I'm talking to her, and I said, you guys should do a podcast about creating something from nothing because Christy created this in 3 months. And Christy goes, well, why don't you go over and do a podcast yourself right now? And then after that, you can take over the podcasting station and interview me. So she's going to be interviewing Christy later. So someone who 20 minutes ago was like, this scares me more than anything. And
But
here's
it is
all the,
also a goal of mine.
but it's also a goal of mine.
Yeah.
And here's all the reasons I can't do it.
Yeah.
Is now on a podcast, and this afternoon about to take over this podcast and interview the founder of this whole summit.
Is that kind of
Look at that.
quantum entanglement or quantum manifestation concept where we go out of our comfort zone, out of these
Yeah.
fears that are not existential fears, right? Not the fear of survival, but the fear of like, well,
Fear
I
of success.
fear of success, right?
Yeah.
Once you
Yes.
approach that, then manifestation unlocks, and you all of a sudden, like 20 minutes
Yes.
after what Mike says,
Yeah.
like, you're doing podcasts, you already have a studio. I was like, well, here we go,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah. So,
like,
well,
what are
one
we
of
waiting
my goals is to face this fear of the performance anxiety that I feel being on stage because I can have
Yeah, I can
really
see
deep
how you're like totally
conversations.
frozen right now. You're doing so badly. You're completely anxious. I can see. Doing great. Anyway, go on.
Right, because I'm actually acknowledging that I'm facing this and I'm here,
Right.
I'm doing it, right?
Yeah.
But it's so easy for me to have really deep conversations with my friends and like this, right? Not on a stage setting. But once I kind of tap into that energy of being on stage and like sharing something that's important to me that I'd love for other people to know, I get this performance anxiety of like, well, what if I don't remember? Or what if I forget this information and that information? What happens then? That fear that sets in.
It's interesting, yeah. For my experience with that, and we met the other day at the AI Summit where I spoke on the stage.
Mhm.
There were 3,000 people. You know,
Mhm.
you probably part of me was so scared that it just like went out, right? It just
Yes.
like went so offline that
Mhm.
it's just like my true self took over. But I needed to cross that boundary of being out of my comfort zone
Yeah.
in order to accept. And then look
Yeah.
at her. She's like, you should check out her podcasts. New coming podcasts.
Thank you for the promotion.
Where can people find you?
I have an Instagram, Rising Soma, RISING SOMA, which is my somatic practice and coaching Instagram. That's what I'm starting off with now at the moment.
So Rising somewhere Instagram.
Yeah.
Mike, where can people find you?
Well, for my speaking training that I do, I actually am referred by word of mouth because it's people that know me referring me to other people that are on stage.
That's the best marketing.
However, I did finally break down and buy a domain name, so probably in about a week, I will have something up called Hall of Fame Speakers.com. But it is, again, this is for people that are already like high level professionals and they just want to go to the best of the best level. And then for my business coaching and so on, it's coachwithmike.com.
Coachwithmike.com. It's
Yeah.
interestingly to mention that, if you're an athlete, you want to go to that point of above 90%. If you're
Yeah.
like, want to improve your sleep, you can only get to that level. And then you need someone like Mike to get on the stage and really rock that stage.
Yeah.
To have that delivery that you shared. I'm so grateful for you sharing. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for both of you becoming to this quickie podcast. So,
Yeah.
we're doing
Thank you for having us.
many here on the I'm Creation Summit, which you can check out imcreationssummit.com. If you're in Bali, come join us in person or stay tuned
And can I
more.
make
And please,
make one?
one shout out at the end.
I
Yeah.
just want to make one last point for any of you who are watching this right now and are thinking, "Man, that's cool. I have fear. I want to overcome." Just think about how quickly this happened. 20 minutes ago, I'm thinking about a podcast. Now she's on one. In about an hour or so, she's going to interview the founder of this. We're going to buy a domain name on GoDaddy, probably in about the next 10 minutes. So she'll have her domain name for her website,
Shout out to GoDaddy.
right? Graphic designer, hire a graphic designer on one of the websites where you can do that. So she'll have her logo. By next week, she's gone from like, I'm afraid to do this. She'll have a website up, she'll have a logo, a domain name, and her first 2 interviews
Wild.
done. When you don't let fear get in the way, that's how fast things can happen. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to hijack
No,
that.
no, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's most valuable. Would you like to share something at words of wisdom for the end?
Oh my goodness. Now I'm being put on the spot. I have that fear of performance anxiety coming up.
Well,
yeah, I
tell
mean,
it to
yeah.
go to hell and
No,
some
no,
wisdom.
no, no, no. Feel it. I mean, yeah, it really does happen that quickly when you start to just follow your deepest intentions and your deepest desires. Everything just starts falling into place to support your dreams. So you just got to take that little baby step, and everything will just start falling into place naturally for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned,
Yeah.
guys. See you soon.